And we're gonna jump into Loki episode 3. So normally talk about Loki at the end, but we want to make sure we get plenty of time to talk about this, especially since we're gonna get John in on this. So we're gonna jump straight into it. Obviously, I shouldn't have to give any premise or build up. John, since you didn't get to talk a lot for Awake, let's jump into your thoughts first on the third episode.
Yeah, cool. So this episode, I was actually kind of disappointed with. For a few reasons. One, it was pretty short. I feel like it's only like 30 minutes long, which is much shorter than the previous ones. This one felt very much like a filler episode, and it almost kind of feels like episodes 3 and 4 could have maybe be one episode depending on how it turns out, but they just kind of broke it up because reasons. And I don't think this is necessarily spoilery, but to me, it basically felt like a Doctor Who episode.
It did.
And not necessarily in a good way.
It looked like a Doctor Who episode.
Like it looked like a Doctor Who, and to me it felt like a Doctor Who episode, but with more explosions.
Marvel.
I do have some other thoughts on it. But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty disappointed with it. I would probably give this a fairly low rating, probably like a 6.
Okay.
Out of 10, maybe a 5.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good, and I like the people in it. I like the actors, but yeah, it could have been so much more, and I expected way more.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah. Short and sweet. John's always to the point. Kelby, what about you? What did you think?
Dude, his review was actually spot on, man. I felt the same way. I was disappointed, but in one of my least favorite filler shows. I feel like Falcon Winter Soldier had a episode that I didn't care for, but it still felt good though. And so this was it's actually similar, man. I really want to know what's going on. We at that stage. I think the same thing probably happened with WandaVision. We got 2 episodes setting up. I'm ready to get to the point a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I felt like this one didn't even address anything that I know of. Like you said, it might turn around.
Yeah.
Right. Like I feel like after the first 2 episodes, like it had this momentum, and then just nothing happened.
Exactly. And then it downplayed on the positive side. I think it did show Loki's personality. It showed what was the girl named I forgot what her name is. They showed her
Sylvie.
Yeah, so Sylvie. They showed the personalities.
Sophia DiMartino.
I didn't want to see it this time.
Yeah.
It almost felt corny. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Doctor Who. There you go. I mean,
you guys put it spot on. You know what I'm saying? The look of it and everything. But at the same time, visual effects look good.
Yep.
Cinematography look good. It's still a Marvel.
It looked better than like a Doctor Who. I feel like because I believe they're using like the volume technology that they're using in The Mandalorian.
Yes,
I don't think they quite pull it off as well as The Mandalorian does. And to me, this kind of felt cheap.
Can you expand on that? I don't know what you're referring to. The volume technology?
Oh,
is it? I don't know.
Yeah. So basically, they are acting in front of this giant like domed LED screen.
Oh, they're like making skyboxes.
Right. But it's real time.
Yeah,
especially when you're like in close-ups and everything doesn't have to be like pixel perfect and sharp. Like a lot of that, what you see in the background is really there. Like it's not. They're not just green screening it. And lot of
that, not just the background, right? It's parallaxing. If you know anything about photography, so you zoom in and out. It's a video game engine, basically.
Right.
Well, it's using Unreal 4.
You move through an environment, it's doing that, so it moves, it expands, and like you said, it's not just what's behind you; it's on top of them, it's surrounding them, so it actually lights them. If there's a sunset,
essentially,
it's yep. So
okay.
Yeah, man, and Disney did say it was developed for Mandalorian, or Mandalorian was the first one to use it.
Yeah.
Lion King, actually.
Okay.
John Favreau brought it over from Lion King.
I think the live action. Okay, cool.
And they
what a good
mastered it for. Oh yeah, definitely. No, did I say Lion King?
Yeah.
Jungle Book. I'm sorry.
That was
he brought it over from Jungle. He did do Lion King as well.
Yeah,
he brought it over from Jungle
they're
both
good.
Okay. But you're right, man. If some of the scenes that were outside, I noticed it. You know what? It was. I can't criticize it as hard as you are. I think Mandalorian uses it better though. I do
for sure.
I thought
I noticed it, but it still looked better than the green screen. To me.
I might be I might be assuming because I'm just like sort of been filled in on this technology, but like I would say the first season of The Mandalorian, now that you pointed out, because there were things that I noticed, especially I think maybe the first episode where I thought the world felt really empty. In one point, I mean, he was in a desert, which I understand that, but when he was like going to like the cantina or whatever in the first or second episode of The Mandalorian, and I remember thinking like, this actually looks lower budget than I expected because of like how like I don't want to say dead. It's a desert, but how like unalive.
What you mean?
The world seemed, despite the fact that it was a desert.
I bet for sure the first season of Mandalorian was way less budget than these Marvel shows.
Well,
so
sure.
I think that's
I know, but
legitimate.
I'm just saying, like, I think I picked up on this technology that you're talking about, and I definitely see it, especially when they're on the ground and that moon is coming down and all that stuff.
I'm gonna tell you, it was done well in Mandalorian. Some of the things that you're mentioning now was probably purposeful because we got to think this is also derivative of cowboy movies. Westerns,
that's
so when you some of the things that you're describing, if you look at those old Clint Eastwood movies, specifically the Italian ones, or some of the old samurai movies, Japanese samurai movies, that's that emptiness that they were trying to capture.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
That wasn't because of what you're talking about. Isn't because of the technology.
Just there were episodes,
that technology they can put whatever they want to in there.
There were episodes of The Mandalorian that were reminiscent of the Power Rangers to me. Which I know, specifically the Robert Rodriguez episode. Go watch it again and tell me that doesn't look like a Power Rangers
Which episode?
The,
no. The Robert Rodriguez episode is season 2.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not praising it as much as most people. That episode didn't look good.
It looks like a Power Rangers episode. I'm gonna go find it. Like I literally was like, this looks like a Power Rangers episode.
I can't believe you got me saying that on tape though.
Listen. I said that, and then I also, you know what I also said right after that, and this is before I knew that it was directed by Robert Rodriguez, which I was very proud of myself. I also went, you know what? This is like Spy Kidsy to some degree. And then it was like directed by Robert Rodriguez, and I was like,
versus Desperado. Yeah.
I was right. Anyway, I mean, we're trying to draw it back, but so Kelby, what would your rating be on this episode?
Dude, I think I would give it maybe a 6.5. I mean, it was still good.
Yeah.
I guess, you know what I'm saying? It just wasn't as entertaining as the other first two episodes.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to jump in, and I don't want to be. I feel like I'm being a bit of a contrarian today to some degree, but I kind of disagree. Now,
say that word in a sentence.
Contrarian. John Jones is a contrarian because he always takes the opposite view of everyone present. He is. He's going to buy the Mustang Mach-E. Chill out. Nobody wants that. Anyway, so. I like this episode for all of the things that it wasn't, not necessarily for all the things that it was. And what I mean by that is, first of all, episode 2 was so strong. So we're in this issue of relating this episode to that one. Because if we were to relate this episode to just what happened in the first episode, I think we would have rated it higher. Episode 2 is super strong. Hold on. I'm getting there, John. Give me a second. So, this is like we were kind of already... I'm glad you guys said it because I was going to say it. This is visually the best episode so far. I thought it was, John, don't give me that face. This is my review, not yours. Visually, I thought it was the best in terms of like, it reminded me of Guardians of the Galaxy to some degree, like when they go to nowhere. I really liked that. I thought that all that stuff was all that like the moon falling or whatever. I liked that. It was sort of a heist movie or a heist episode to some degree as well. I thought that had it going for it. But what I mean by like for everything that it wasn't is it wasn't like an action. I mean, it was actiony in the fact that things were happening, but this was all character building. This was them building their relationship, because my assumption for this show is that there is going to be these two characters are going to be working together very heavily. Now, technically, this character is Sylvie, which means that she's not Loki. She's not a Loki variant. I think we might find that out. I don't know. But they've been sort of pushing us toward this being a Loki variant, even though in the Marvel Universe, Sylvie is actually just a human that from Oklahoma that and I've got that up here.
Well, I think she's called the Enchantress.
Amora the Enchantress is her name, and that's the name she takes on when she goes to join the Avengers because she moves to New York City to become a superhero. But when Asgard got moved to Oklahoma, through a series of events, Loki ends up giving her, this human her abilities, and then she becomes Sylvie. So if that's who this character is supposed to be, then we're going to find out that she's Loki-esque because he gave her her abilities, but she's not a Loki variant. But the show seems to be maybe taking a slightly different take on this. And if that's the case, what we saw was basically two enemies that couldn't help but to get along because they're the same person, essentially. So that's what this whole episode is about, in my opinion. Like, I kept thinking, like, they're getting along too well. They literally have all the same opinions, basically, about everything. They've got currently a slightly different... Well, they have the exact same goal, I think, in mind. Sylvie is years and years ahead of Loki in terms of what she's trying to do. So she doesn't want this dude that she is not really aware of, getting in on this. She doesn't want his help. She doesn't need his help. And then it's also very Loki of her, right? She's I can do everything on my own. I don't need anyone's help. So I think that this episode was one, they're like, okay, we're going to build on this relationship. They're going to be working together a whole hell of a lot throughout, the remaining 3 episodes. There's only 6 episodes, right?
Yeah, only 6. Yeah.
So we need an episode to explain like why they get along so well. We need an episode to do that, but it can't be super, super boring. So we need like a moon falling out of the sky, essentially. I think that's like overall what they were doing. And I thought it looked pretty good. I thought.
Now I liked the aesthetic. Like I liked a lot of the neon and the bright colors and stuff. But I still thought it looked
nowhere.
Right, exactly. But I still think it looked cheap. I like the aesthetic, but it looked cheap, like a Doctor Who episode.
Do you think that it looked any cheaper than when they showed you like the rest of the TVA, like out the window? That looked kind of cheap to me too.
No. I thought that looked fine.
Okay, yeah, I did as well.
But I will say, the design in the first 2 episodes was so simple. Like you're saying, you like the look of this one. We saw more of the world. Period.
Yeah.
In this one, I think, because they had went to places, but you only. You didn't really get a sense of where they were. There was no big wide shots.
They went to Pompeii, right? And they were literally like between 4 buildings. That's the whole thing.
Right.
And there's, a volcano in the background.
Exactly.
So yeah, I hear
that scene actually looked cheap.
And I will also say that, I mean, this is Marvel, where every single planet they go to, there's all these weird aliens and creatures. Right. But this planet that I don't think is supposed to be part of like the Earth, civilization or anything, they are all just humans. So I think they could have thrown some body paint on some people, given some people some ears or some contact lenses, something to mix it up instead of just being people.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, we weren't very spoilery here, but I think what's interesting about this episode is there's not a whole lot to spoil.
Dude, I was like,
I don't like you.
I'm listening to y'all, and it's making me. That's one of the things I dislike. There's nothing I can grip onto. What was the episode about?
I have a couple of kind of spoiler things that I want to talk about. But
the episode was about their relationship, like showing that they are interested.
I do hear that. I do hear that.
That's it. I think that's all of it. It's inconsequential that this entire planet is about to die.
You know what, man? Loki is not the most likable for me. I mean, hopefully Marvel heads don't get mad. He's not likable.
He's
in
Deadpool.
General, you know what I mean? Even when he turned good.
I mean, he's Deadpool. Man, he's Deadpool, but not as funny.
I was about to say Deadpool is charismatic as hell, man.
Well, Loki thinks he is.
Loki is exactly, which is cool. It worked. What I'm starting to realize, this is just listening to you guys talk, because I hadn't analyzed in the process. Seeing him work with Owen Wilson, is it Mobius?
Mm-hmm.
I think I love that. I love what was going on, what I was learning. But as far as characters, I like how they were interacting,
and
I think that's what I'm missing. In this episode.
The chemistry wasn't as good, that's for sure.
Right.
But in a way that kind of makes sense that it wouldn't be.
It did.
Let's do that. Let's jump into spoilers.
Yeah,
John.
let me hear these spoilers, man.
You got some stuff you want to talk about, so go ahead and jump into it.
Yeah. So one of the things I was surprised with, I had kind of theorized that maybe Sylvie had been born, Sylvie, and so that was what her name was. But she kind of confirmed that she was at some point theoretically known as Loki. So where my mind kind of went is that is she, potentially like being viewed as like, was she transgender? Was she a Loki? And she decided, that she was going to identify as Sylvie from some point. Interesting. And so that's why she got kind of, maybe, irritated because, basically, if that was the case, then Loki was basically dead naming her, for a certain time until she shut it down. So that to me, that was kind of the most interesting part of this episode.
No, that's true.
Well, she did that in episode 2 as well. I mean, she didn't jump into it as much, but she did say like, "Don't call me that,"
Right.
She did, but like you said, we learned a little bit more about her. We learned that Loki is bisexual.
Yeah.
Right. It was a little thing. I think we learned a little bit about who they are.
Yeah, there was.
If it's true though, right? Because I mean, everything that
he says could be just bullshit.
Yeah, that's more true. Her. I think I feel like I know Loki. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Her, I'm still not sure. It's like, she's being genuine.
I wonder if while they were writing John or Kelby as well, like while they were kind of trying to figure out, like, again, if this is another Loki variant, or what have you, I wonder if they thought about the fact that like having the two of the exact same character or mostly the same character would actually be kind of boring. Mm-hmm. So it would make sense that they would come up with something to differentiate them, outside of like something visual. So maybe that's, like it being a Hulk Loki variant, which I think would be super fun, by the way. But maybe they were like, all right, well, we got to like add some flavor, something interesting, something different to basically having, not have like Paul Rudd or whatever in that movie with that TV show, which I actually liked, by the way. But anyway,
I did enjoy that.
you got a couple other spoilery things, John, that you want to talk about.
Oh well, I guess not really so much spoiler, but kind of theories more than anything. The other thing that I was thinking about is she kind of explained what happens when she enchants somebody. She basically puts them in like a fantasy land, like inside their head. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if we might find out that Loki, they've been in this, he's been enchanted and he's in this kind of fantasy land in his head that she's created to control him without him knowing.
A very skeleton key of them, and I would be annoyed.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was the kind of other thing, the kind of the 2 points that, while I overall was down on the episode, there was points that kind of intrigued me, with the overarching story.
As long as they don't, give us rain zombie us, right?
Yeah.
Well, one of the big spoilers that was this episode. Hopefully, I'm not mixing my episodes up, but they revealed that the people.
Oh, right. They were all
variants
that work for the TVA.
That was a big. That was this episode, right?
Yeah,
that was a real big deal.
I guess that was a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird that I forgot it, but when I saw it, it was like, man, that's a real big deal.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see like, well, because they don't know that. That's the important part.
That's what makes it interesting, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when I say big deal, it's I don't know what it means in the grand scheme of Marvel.
Right. I assume Owen Wilson was a jet ski.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Exactly.
That I was like, yeah, he lived in Hawaii. He's like, I don't even want to watch anymore. Right. He's like, why not? Man, that's so freeing. He's like, yeah,
and that's what my mind went to. Right. It was like so then you got these characters. Narratively is where it's interesting to me because anytime you got a secret, how is it going to affect these people when they find out? If they find out, how are they going to find out?
And I always interesting to me. There's this weird, I guess it's a writing technique, but like where the audience has a secret that the cast members don't know, and or not the cast members, but the characters don't know. And I do like that. Even though it's been done time and time again, I do enjoy that aspect.
Yeah, it's unavoidable. Yeah. If you're using it right, I mean, in most cases, some movies it just creates an anxiety. So you're watching it. I know I watch Ozark. There's all kinds of secrets, and it's extra tension. Like, oh my god, I hope this person never finds out.
What a
right. And that's exactly what they used a lot in Breaking Bad was the tension of knowing what was coming, but not knowing what the reaction or how they're going to get out of it.
And they used it right because Breaking Bad would wait a season or two 2 or 3 seasons before they would reveal something.
Well, I mean, and
like,
then the ultimate reveal, of course, which is Walt is Heisenberg. But spoiler for anybody that
Oh,
watch
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Anyway, but also,
Yeah.
I mean, Dexter is another perfect example of this, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, season 2, I think, when Dokes is all
Right.
over him, which is one of my kind of.
Why they killed off Dokes? I know.
It's so annoying that they did that. He's just like.
But it made sense though. I mean,
Pick
he
up a
wasn't letting go.
crayon, psycho, and scribble this down. I love Doe because he is so funny.
I mean, he's probably the subject of my favorite meme.
Oh
So,
yeah,
what's that?
exactly.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Yeah, exactly.
A
Surprise.
side of fries, motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh man, God, he's the look on his surprise, motherfucker. Sorry, I tend to derail, but I think that's, I mean, yeah, that particular
I
guess trope of some
Right.
to some degree
Right.
is a part of, you know, these
And look,
huge shows.
and it makes the time people not I said time people because I forgot what they call
The TVA, yep.
it makes TVA. It makes them not good, which I think we're already leaning towards that when you're saying things like they're the 2 characters teaming up, the 2 Lokis teaming up.
Oh yeah, it's
Teaming
given
up
us
against who?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the TVA is revealing. So again, I don't know, because Marvel is smart, man. I do feel like they're smart. So I don't know if they're feeding us this, leading us this way, you know. But it is interesting though. That part was interesting about this episode.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I think it's a way for them to have like the TVA agents themselves not being bad guys, but potentially those lizard wizard people, you know, that are or whatever ultimately is behind them, you know, are the kind of the ultimate antagonists.
Yeah, which I think will just lead to Loki, Sylvie, and Mobius like teaming up. To some degree, which, you know, and then maybe actually, you know what, it's probably Loki, Mobius, Sylvie, and what's her? Is it?
Oh girl, huh?
Yeah,
she's been me.
15. Gosh, I knew it. B-15.
I think that sounds right.
It's B-15. I know it is, but I'm trying to remember her. I'm going over to Loki.
The girl from Lovecraft, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Hunter B-15. Sorry.
Yeah. And she's prone, and she's again looking at scripts and stuff. She can stay this way, but she would be the perfect character to switch to.
Well, yeah,
because I feel like
they focused on
Mobius
her.
is almost there. She's like totally against.
Mhm.
You know,
right.
so
Well, right, because she like hates variance, but then if somebody's like, "Hey, by the way, like you are what you seem to hate," and she's gonna be like, "Well, shit."
Yeah.
And like, oh, they lied to me. My whole life is a lie. Like, okay, well, now I'm gonna join forces with you all. I think that's essentially where we're going.
For sure. But you know what the problem is with predicting these Marvel shows, the ones that's been on Disney Plus, is time. Because I watched you guys the last episode as well, man. It was some real good, real cool predictions out there. It's time, yo.
Yeah.
I feel like we don't have enough episodes. Like, how much time do we have? Like, you know, and I guess that gives me anxiety when I'm watching this.
I see what you're
saying.
saying.
I know there's only so many episodes, and it's like, can we, you know, do all the things that we think is possible?
Well, and the other thing too is we don't know how much we're gonna get, right? So WandaVision was supposed to, from what I understand, is a one-off. They're not doing anything else. They're not doing any more.
Right.
I haven't heard anything about. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, spoilers.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. I mean, it's Captain
probably
America
one-off.
and Winter Soldier. I mean, they were doing that so they didn't have to spend time in a movie to show us Anthony Mackie becoming Captain America. Like, that's why they did that. So
it was smart. Yeah.
It's what the whole show is about. Let's be honest. Like,
right.
They give us like this weird hand clan. I always think of the Foot Clan from the Ninja Turtles. But they're the.
Well, I mean, that's what the Foot Clan is based off of.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How about that?
What do I know? Anyway, I'm making connections on shit I didn't know existed. But so I mean, that's what that is about. You know, because I think we all knew that, but we didn't get to see it, and we all would have been like, "Come on, what the hell? Like, how did this occur?" He got the shield, but like he didn't want it. So are they going to give us more?
And it was a lot better. You're right, because they wouldn't have showed the social issues, the race issues.
Oh man, yeah,
military issues. You know, honor of. There was so much that was in that wouldn't have been in Captain America movie.
I mean, and
we wouldn't have time, not because they didn't want to.
Right. Yeah, we would have got a 4-hour Captain America movie, which would have been okay. But yeah, I mean,
which is what we got, right? And that's another thing too.
Exactly.
We're talking about 6 episodes, as John he pointed out. Man, there's these things. The minute times for all the shows are different. which is consistent with Disney Plus shows. If you notice, Mandalorian, Falcon, Wanda, all of it. We might get a 30-minute episode. We might get a 44-minute episode. We might get something that's an hour. So we really don't know. We don't know how much time we have.
That's
either.
right.
We just know how many episodes.
It's interesting that we got a filler only having 6, and then it seems like the cards are on the table. Like, we're not going to get another season. They're setting up the multiverse. Like that's what they're doing.
Yes.
So I mean, if you think about all these shows, like they have a goal in mind, right?
I mean, like I've said before, like that's what we're expecting, but I'm not going to believe that they're setting up the multiverse until it's done.
Say that.
Fair enough, but I mean, that's all. That's
because they already faked us one time, right?
They faked us twice.
Yeah. And how are they? Yeah.
I mean, Sylvie just kicked off lots of Nexus events, right? To hopefully create this. We'll see.
That's true.
And
Doctor Strange is named that, right? That's in the name.
Yeah.
It's named that, but Vision or WandaVision was supposed to be the direct tie-in to that movie. So if it didn't, what else is going to be? What else is going to do it?
Yeah.
Well,
you know what? And that's the setup, man. That's something I read as well, right? Because Falcon and Winter Soldier was supposed to be first. That was supposed to have been our baby step into this craziness.
Yeah.
And then it would have made more sense, right? But yeah, and Wanda is in Doctor Strange, man. So
right. I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be interesting.
It's
to see
crazy
where things go.
Crazy thing is going on with Spider-Man. If it's true, right? We got
there's so many like, oh, it's happening, and no, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not.
Well, but we know for a fact that
Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are in it, or
those are we don't know.
Oh, okay.
We know that
Alfred Molina's going to be in it.
Oh, yeah.
Alfred Molina and Jamie Foxx.
Oh,
so we know that those two bad guys are
okay.
definitely going to be in there.
I guess
and
you
Doc
said that.
Ock. Yep, Alfred Molina actually said that the character looks the same. He's playing the exact version from Spider-Man 2.
Right. I mean, and those are literally. I mean, it's in a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, and then that's literally characters from Andrew Garfield and
right.
And,
but I mean,
exactly.
they could be the same characters that just they just look alike because they like the actors. Because at the end of what was it, Far From Home, they had, was it J.K. Simmons?
Right.
Yeah.
That was J. Jonah Jameson.
J. Jonah Jameson, but he's doing something different. He's got like a web podcast show or something, right? I mean,
right. He's like Alex Jones.
That plays into that. Yeah, exactly. And that plays the multiverse card as well. You know what I mean? So to me, that was the first sign that maybe this thing is real. And the fact that it was at the end of that movie, not to change the subject completely.
No, that's okay.
It was at the end of a movie where they played that trick on us, right? Where they tricked us into thinking it was going to be a multiverse.
Always kind of like mess with us.
And then it was like it wasn't real, and then they give us that little nugget at the end. I think that was on purpose, man.
I see, because Jake Gyllenhaal, Mysterio, kind of talks about it. Right, he like mentions
exactly,
it, but he was lying. He's like, "There's a multiverse, oh my god!" And then like,
right,
that was my
complete lie, yo. Yeah.
That was my Tom Holland doing an American accent. Anyway, it actually wasn't that bad. Cool. So yeah, I mean, I think overall, when we see the rest of this, I think this episode will seem so much more pivotal than we realize. And I think when we go back and look at it in hindsight, that I think you two will like it better. I could be reading into things and be totally wrong, but I think the character building that we got from it, like that relationship, maybe they could have done it better or whatever, but I think that was really important to the show, and I thought it looked good, even though, John, you said it looked cheap.
I don't think you gave us what your actual rating would be.
Oh yeah, I was actually about to get to that. I thought that a moment ago and then forgot because I wanted to move on. But yeah, I would say I would get like a 6.5.
So we're not too far.
Well, no, because I gave the first
just describing it different.
Yeah, I gave the first episode a 7, and then I gave the second episode. I want to say I give it a 9 because I thought it was really good. I really loved the second episode. I thought it was
so ours just dropped more basically.
Yeah. Cool. So
I agree.
Great episode.
Hey, well, let me say this, man. Let me say this.
Yeah.
So, I trust, and this is one, I guess, the comic book geek in me, and the movie watcher though. I trust Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
Or Feige.
Feige.
I do trust. So even when I don't like something, he hasn't done any, and I'm a DC head, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But Marvel, man,
Batman.
Dude, they're not missing the mark with these movies, man. So I do trust I trust his judgment.
They have a formula and they follow it. I mean, and they've got this new formula for the show. And I mean, the other two shows were good. So I mean, I don't think that we'll find this will be bad. I mean, if nothing else, Tom Hiddleston is an incredible actor, and he's gonna pull off.
He's doing good. He's doing good. He's doing good.
Yeah, I mean, even his act, like we brought up before, his act of being a bad version of Loki in the first episode, I was like, this is good. I don't like it because of what it is, but I know what he's doing, and I thought he did a great job. So, can't wait to see tomorrow what happens in episode 4. I'm looking forward to it. I might get up and like watch it like 9 a.m.
Just stay up till 3 a.m.
Is that when it comes out?
Yeah, I think midnight Pacific.
Okay. I could. My birthday is tomorrow, so happy birthday to me.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Maybe thanks. I'll stay up till